There's a lot of people that have built businesses. There's a lot of people that have built families, built their home. There's very few people that have ever built a community. And our region's has a unique opportunity for young men and women under the age of 35 to really have a say and drive that direction of how our region's going to be built.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers, fiercely local, fiercely loyal.
Final thoughts. I think that in my past life before I was working in my current capacity, I worked in hundreds of the small businesses in the community, and I've talked to many of you over the years and spent a lot of time around a lot of different tables talking to people. One thing that I think we can never have too much of is communication and understanding, and coming to a shared understanding about what your employee is going through, what your mentor or boss is going through. We have an 80-20 economy right now, right? We have 80% of our current local economy is not us. It is those younger or older than us. And understanding how we survive in that small piece, we need that 80% of cheerleaders encouraging us, helping us pull ourselves up by the bootstraps if we're entrepreneurs, helping us grow as professionals if that's our lane, and corporate jobs, understanding where we're at and having those conversations with us and taking the time to encourage instead of saying, oh, these kids these days. That gives me like chills. But instead saying, these kids these days are really trying to do something cool. How can I help them achieve that? How can I get behind the fence and start pushing it? The more we all pull each other up, the more the whole thing works.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, just building off of what we've heard, and I definitely agree. The mindset has 100% changed. Even I'm 24 years old, and looking downtown 10 years ago in Youngstown versus today, it's a totally different landscape. But I think, playing devil's advocate, I think it's something that we're in very polarizing times right now with everything, and pushing back on the narrative that it's just the older generations not listening to us. I think there's the same extent I think it's naive to think that it's just them. I think we also don't always take into consideration what we're hearing and understanding what they've seen. And I think that's a very important key. I think both sides, younger generations like, oh, what do they know? Oh, they're crazy. Mm-hmm. The older generations is, oh, they have no experience. They're too young. How could they know? Yeah. I think it's just like everything else. We need to somehow break that barrier and come together. I necessarily don't know the exact way to do so. I think if someone figured it out, we'd probably be in a much better place. But I think that we need to always understand that everyone is coming from, I think, in the most cases, in the right. No one's saying that they're doing something good if they're actually doing something bad. They think, for whatever reason, what they're doing is the right way. And I think as long as we know that, there is definitely a way to bridge that gap. We're all trying to do good. It's just they see it a different way. Well, why? And having those conversations is key. But I think it's important to kind of get both sides of that, the older and younger. I
just want to say that I know a lot of people my age, including my brother, who's lived in Cleveland, Chicago, Cincinnati, that are coming back to Youngstown. So that's a good thing. And also, too, one thing that I really took away from today was like how the younger generation and the mentorship and getting people experience and how can we set them up for that. And I love that idea, and I, would love to be a part of that. I just want to challenge the thinking to also include the small businesses in that, because I would love to have some, I'm the marketer, I'm the social media manager, I make all of our print material. I also do all of the events that we do. I'm also the therapist. I'm the, hiring person. So there's so much opportunity for people to come into my clinic and learn all different things. They could do social media, they could do events, they could, the therapy part, the administrative part. However, it's very challenging for small businesses to have the bandwidth to take on mentors, to even just organize what time they're going to be there. That'd be all me. I don't have time for that. I have so many students who reach out, who want to mentor, who want to come into my clinic, but small businesses don't have an employee who can just like triage all of that. So how can we make it more, because small businesses have the opportunity for them to see so much and really be a part of that growth. But it's a real challenge. So like what kind of mentorship opportunities can we do as an organization that do a lot of that groundwork and organization and setting it up for small businesses? Because like I have to turn it down all of the time. I can't handle it. So just if we go forward with that, which I definitely think we should, it's a little bit harder for small businesses than it is for like established corporate, like organizations to take on mentors and take on that role as much as we love to. Could use all kinds of insight from younger generations on a lot of that stuff, but just something to keep in mind for us going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I turn everything back to economic development. What does it look like to achieve economic prosperity for our region? And the previous model that we saw was the build the business and the people will come. We've operated like that for a long time. Steel plants could pop up, put an ad in the paper. By next Tuesday, they'd have most of their jobs filled. That model's flipped entirely upside down. It's now attract the people and the businesses will come. You're seeing it in Austin, Texas is a great example. Yep. They're focused on community. They're bringing in 50,000 people a year, and businesses, new housing, new industry, new culture can't spawn fast enough. And I think as we continue to focus on this, building this culture, attracting the people, we're going to see great prosperity in our region. And when you talk about, how do we bring back our friends? How do we retain people that are attending our region, oftentimes for education purposes? I always revert back to, there's a lot of people that have built businesses. There's a lot of people that have built families, built their home. There's very few people that have ever built a community. And our region has a unique opportunity for young men and women under the age of 35 to really have a say and drive that direction of how our region's going to be built. And I think you're going to see that continue to be pressed on over the next 5-10 years.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers, fiercely local, fiercely loyal.